Brands are powerful things, especially in the automotive world. I've been fortunate during my driving lifetime to own cars from a variety of world-renowned manufacturers. And my tendency to switch between the brand that speaks to me the most in the moment makes me not necessarily the definition of a monogamous car brand owner. So how do car makers keep buyers like me, the love 'em and leave 'em type, coming back buying their cars over and over again? Well, I've got a few thoughts on that subject, as well as a question for you, my fellow car lovers, in this episode of Between the Wheels. As I've shared in a previous episode as I ran through my car owning history, I've owned a few cars from the BMW Auto Group during my driving lifetime. One of my first new cars was a BMW Z4, a Mark I. And then years later, I owned a second gen Z4, a 35IS. And those two cars rank up there among my favorite cars ever. Somewhere in between the two, I owned a Mini Cooper Clubman S. So I guess when you look at my car owning history, I've come back to BMW a lot. It's a brand that I like, and they've made a lot of cars that have attracted me over the years to want to part with my money and buy them. A few months after I turned in my second Z4, I received a package in the mail, and I opened it and was surprised to find this. Wasn't something I'd ordered, wasn't something I paid for or asked for. It's an artist's rendering of what I think is a Z4, or at the time maybe it was an early concept drawing of that car. So I was kind of jazzed to get something in the mail from one of my favorite brands, representing a car that I liked a lot, one of my favorite cars I've owned. And when you talk to marketers and sales experts, they talk about this concept of surprising and delighting their customers, or their potential customers. So I was pretty surprised and delighted to get a rendering from one of my favorite brands, and it is an art piece that earned a spot in my study, and I like to look at it as a great example of design and automotive art and automotive engineering that I really dig. So a month or so ago, I received something else in the mail. I also didn't order it, didn't pay for it. What was this? Well, I'm taking the shrink wrap off. I opened up the box to find a USB cable. And inside the box, which is kind of neat in design, is another box, also from BMW. And it is a marketing piece all about the BMW 7 Series, the new, presumably 2018 BMW 7 Series. And looked like your typical sort of very fancy, no less, brochure piece you might find at the dealer. And I couldn't figure out why this USB cable was included. And I opened up the entire package. So like, how much did that cost to send me? And so here's, your not so typical automotive brochure. It's got your usual leaflets where it's got some specs and some pictures of the 7 Series, which is, a really cool car. I mean, it's a $100,000 limo. but like a full color LCD display, a full presentation, all charged up. You open it up, the thing comes to life. It's, like the most crazy, involved, three-dimensional advertisement I've ever seen sent to someone in the mail. So, a couple things come to mind as I look at that. Obviously I'm on some marketers list at BMW, and over the years they've sent me some things to remind me like, hey, we're here, we want you to buy more cars from us. And that's a sales technique, it's a marketing technique, I get it. But obviously, the smart people at BMW are doing some things to try to keep their customers and previous customers remembering that BMW is a brand they want you to keep buying, and they're trying to surprise and delight their customers. It reminds me of one of the things that attracted me to BMW years and years ago as a brand and as a creative organization when they did the BMW Hire series, the short films with Clive Owen in them, and they highlighted their cars and did some amazing entertainment pieces to highlight a brand and their products and to cross over art and engineering and the entire brand story of BMW. The same thing that they've done with their art cars over the years. They've taken cars and had artists do paintings on the car itself. So BMW is obviously thinking outside the box and inside the box in terms of how they want their customers to be reminded that there's cars like the 7 Series out there and the Z4 that they want you to keep buying. So kind of cool, kind of a surprise and delight, neat thing for a customer like me and a previous customer like me to get in the mail, and just to remind me as I'm now owning a Mercedes that maybe BMW wants to get me back. So will it sway my buying decision? Well, I almost bought an M car when I bought my last car. I went Mercedes this time for the first time in my buying history, just because there was a timing issue with the M car that I wanted being available. But I could go back to BMW, and maybe they know that. Maybe they know that if they keep me jazzed about their brand, that the next time I'm ready to buy and cycle into a new car, that I'll look at BMW. They're smart people, and they know how to attract folks back to their brand, apparently. So kind of crazy that I'm continuing to receive things from BMW in the mail. Maybe next they'll just send me the car and make it easy, and we'll both be happy. But my question for you is this. Have you ever received anything this lavish in the mail? Those of you that are car freaks like me, have you received gifts or little reminders or art pieces or marketing paraphernalia from a car company that made you kind of go, I hadn't thought of them in a while, or gee, that makes me really have a warm feeling toward that brand? Did it surprise and delight you? Have you made a buying decision based on something like this that was sent in the mail? Did that car company change your mind about a car you wanted to buy because they got you so excited about their brand, because they sent you something that got you really excited to try their product? So I'd love to see your comments and thoughts in the comments below, and see if any of you had the same experience I have with a car company wooing you to come back and spend your money with them. Sort of an interesting way that they are spending a lot of money to get customers to come back and buy their cars. I'm working on another episode, and we'll be sharing a contrast between two cars that are a lot alike and also a lot different, and I will get that out to you just as soon as it's done. And since 'tis the season, I wish all of you a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holiday, and as always, thanks for watching.